did your own thing in terms of, especially the monologue, like that. It was a very conversational monologue. It wasn't. So let's see what's happening in the news today.
It wasn't scripted.
I couldn't really. I mean, I tried at first. If you look at the very early shows, I'm sure you can find them on the internet. But
that'll be their slogan at some point when things are
the
really
internet
taking a turn.
Hey, join us on the internet. But at first, I mean, I got terrible reviews, and it was really awkward because I was reading jokes off of cue cards and stuff.
Yeah.
The real reason that show happened wasn't really anything to do with me having the balls to make it different. It was more about the fact that David Letterman protected me, and Dave owned the time period. So it was a weird thing. It'll never happen on TV ever again. It was just a weird thing. Very briefly, it's kind of boring business, but it explains why it happened. In the 90s, when Dave and Jay were fighting over the Tonight Show, in order to get Dave to go to CBS offered him the ownership of 2 hours of late night. So Dave owned his time slot and owned the time slot after it. That's very unusual.
Wow.
So he could put on, if he wanted to put up just, stupid pet tricks, which is basically what my show was, for an hour, he could do that.
He could do that.
Because it was his slot.
Right. So he owned the real estate.
That's insane.
So, and of course, when Dave went, that went away.
Yeah.
Right.
So I couldn't, even although I decided to go, even if I hadn't, I would have still had to go because Dave wouldn't be there protecting me, and then I'd be at the mercy of CBS, and then that wouldn't have gone well. I don't think.
And then your career would be down in the toilet, and you'd be reduced to doing podcasts.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Wait, so he had to sign off on you?
Who, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. He did. Yeah, at the beginning.
Was there a audition, like a screen test for?
No, they tested out 4 guys. Well, they tested out a lot of people actually, but they boiled it down to 4 guys. It was D.L. Hughley, me, Michael Ian Black, and another guy whose name I forget. But
Mario Lopez.
No, he's a smart guy actually.
Yeah.
I feel bad not remembering his name because he was good.
Oh.
But there was 4 of us, and we each got a week of doing the late night show. Wow. And then Dave, Peter LaSalle, and a guy called Les Moonves. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, for sure.
They,
nice guy. Very friendly.
Oh man. So anyway, they made the decision of who got the job.
So thank you, Les Moonves, is what you're trying to say.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's not what he said, Brad.
So Craig Ferguson owes his life.
Do you remember that week of shows and like what your prep was like, what your mind was like? What did you feel?
Yeah, I really wanted the gig.
Yeah, of course.
I really wanted the gig.
Once you get that close, right? You're like,
yeah, and I was excited by the idea of because it was a life-changing thing. I mean, you go from like trying to make a thing happen there and trying to make a thing there, and all of that goes away. You just go to work, which for the first couple of years was great. And then very slowly, like a Chinese water torture, it starts to make you crazy. Can you even say Chinese water torture? I don't know.
Well,
just like
on the day of Chinese New Year that we're recording this.
Yeah,
Gong Hei Fat Choi, by the way.
Yeah, and the same to you. But,
it's the year of the pig.
Yeah. But
why do you know that?
My wife is Chinese.
Okay. Is she really?
Yeah, that's we had to build an altar this morning and pour whiskey out to her ancestors.
Is that true?
Yeah,
that's adorable.
That is
I know, right?
Boy, married life isn't that bad.
And then she gets to say, "Hey, ancestors! Not only do I have whiskey, but I have a dwarf."
You know what's interesting?
We get to offer you a dwarf.
Is that an offering?
You get sacrificed?
Apparently.
Do they want that?
My ancestors were dwarfs and drank whiskey.
I like your ancestors.
Yes, you probably would.
All the battle axes.
Yeah.
Did you miss the consistency? Like Drew Carey's show was, I mean, real steady, consistent, right? Like that's.
Yeah.
And so when that stops, is this the time that you're speaking of that you're like, I need, like you said, the Chinese war torture term to describe kind of just that lack of.
The Drew Carey show was a different thing because I was working as an actor in a show which. You're part of a troupe, I guess, and it's a much more kind of collegiate feel about it, and it's nice. It's a nice thing. Stand up or late night was a kind of at first I wasn't aware of it because like most, I think probably all of us that do this kind of thing, there's this an element of narcissism. I think probably, and so I was very attracted to that at first. Like the show's got your name on it, and everybody. Kisses your ass when you walk in and stuff like that. But very quickly it becomes isolating, and over a period of time it got extremely strange. I remember when Seth started on an NBC, he called me up, and he's such a nice guy. I said, congratulations, but you're gonna go crazy. And he said, no, I don't think I'll go crazy. And I spoke to him a year ago. He still hasn't gone crazy yet, but I'm holding out hope.
I put 20 on red.
Yeah. I think
you're
going
to be right in the long run.
Everybody else goes crazy. Everyone's going crazy. I don't know anyone who does that that's not crazy.
Well, it's such an insane line of work when you break it down and think that you work so hard to create this thing that is on air and then it's gone.
Yeah,
it's just gone, and now on to the next game.
That was kind of the joy of it. The actual performing of it is fine. Yeah, you know, that's great.
You enjoyed the
I love
making bits and figuring out.
Right, I love that. The interviews became very tiresome because a lot of the people I mean, especially over time. A lot of the people I wanted to talk to, you figure out who your favorites are, but they're not available every night. So you've got, who's on the new WB sitcom and stuff, and you're like, great, and that gets a little old. Yeah, but the difficulty was not doing the show. The difficulty was dealing with the fact that what happens if you're in a position like that, you become HR, My sister's having a baby. My brother needs me to go to Vermont and whatever it is, and you end up spending your whole life like being the HR guy, and I'm not cut out for that. Yeah, and also the level of corporate fake bonhomie is difficult for me because I didn't go to an American college. I don't know how to do all that shit. Like fist bumps and fucking chest pumps and all that.
And that's the name of your next book. Yeah, fist bumps and chest humps. I don't know.
Yeah, fist bumps and chest humps. That's a very, very good idea for a film that I accidentally am going to produce.
Well, based on your track record, it's going to be amazing.
It's about last night.